Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament, and all citizens of Fiji joining us through television, radio, and online platform. Very good morning to you all. Honorable Speaker, sir, the Holy Bible reminds us in Proverbs 21:5, the plan for the diligent leaders sure to be abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. The timeline's wisdom reminds us that the nation's future is built not by chance, but through careful planning, prudent investment, and steadfast commitment to the well-being of the people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise in support of the 2026-2027 national budget, and I'm pleased to contribute to this debate on behalf of the Ministry of Education. I acknowledge the Ministry of Finance for representing a budget that continues to recognize education as one of the government's highest priorities while balancing the competing demands on our national resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government has made a significant investment in education. The task before us is to use those resources wisely, support our schools, and deliver the improvement that parents and student communities rightfully expect from the government. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government has continued to reduce the financial barriers that once prevented many children from attending school through free education, students' transport assistance, tertiary scholarship, and other support programs. More families are receiving assistance to keep their children in education. Mr. Speaker, sir, as access continues to improve, our attention must now turn to keeping children engaged in school, supporting them to complete their education, and ensuring they live with their knowledge, skills, and value needed for employment, further education, and responsible citizenship. Mr. Speaker, sir, regular school attendance remains one of the strongest foundations for education's success. A child who attends school consistently has a far better opportunity to learn, develop confidence, and achieve his or her potential. While government has reduced many of the financial barriers in education, we know that attendance and school completion are influenced by many other factors. Family circumstances, peer pressure, student behavior, social issues, and a lot of interest in learning can all affect whether the child remains in the school. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is why school cannot work in isolation. Parents and guardians have the first responsibility of encouraging regular attendance and reinforcing the importance of education at home. Communities, faith-based organizations, and other partners also have important roles to supporting our young people. Mr. Speaker, sir, every child who leaves school early represents a missed opportunity. Keeping children engaged in learning should remain one of the highest priorities because completing school gives young people greater choices for further education, skills training, and also having employment in their future career undertaking. Mr. Speaker, sir, education today is very different from what it was only a few years ago. Our schools are preparing students for a world that is changing rapidly, where technology, new industries, changing patterns of employment are reshaping the skills that young people will need. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the time, school continue to face challenges that extend beyond academic learning, student well-being, behaviors, online safety, and other social issues increasingly influence attendance, engagement, and also the achievements at school. These realities require us to continue reviewing and how we support our school, our teachers, and our students. They also remind us that funding by itself will not improve education. Progress depends on how well our policies are implemented, how effectively our schools are supported, and whether our students are achieving a better result. Mr. Speaker, sir, the public rightly expect to see results from government's investment in education. Parents want confidence that their children are learning. Teachers want the support needed to do their job well. Employers want young people learning at school with knowledge, skills, and attitude needed in today's workplace. Mr. Speaker, sir, those expectations are reasonable, and they should continue to guide the work of the ministry. Throughout this debate, I wish to focus on the areas where continued attention will make a greatest difference, supporting our teachers, preparing our students for employment, strengthening digital learning, improving students' well-being, and ensuring that every investment contributes to better outcomes across our education system. Mr. Speaker, sir, every education system depends on its teachers. They influence how students learn, grow, and prepare for life beyond the classroom. I acknowledge the commitment of our teachers, the head of schools, school support staff, who continue to serve with professionalism, often in circumstances that require personal sacrifice, particularly in our rural, remote, and maritime communities. Government has continued to support the teaching professional through this budget. Our focus should now be on attracting qualified teachers, retaining experienced teachers, and ensuring that schools have the right teachers where they are needed most. Mr. Speaker, sir, professional development should remain a priority. As curriculum, technology, and classroom practices continue to evolve, teachers must be given every opportunity to strengthen their knowledge and skills. We should also continue listening to our teachers. They understand the realities of the classroom, and their experience should continue to inform the ministry's decision. Mr. Speaker, sir, the education should prepare young people for the opportunity that awaits them after they leave school. Mr. Speaker, sir, the National Skill Gap Assessment Survey, launched earlier this year, highlighted the growing demand for skilled workers across key sectors of our economy, from Year 9, technical and vocational education and training, equip students with practical skills and career pathway for further training, employment, and establishing their own businesses. Initiatives such as the Beauty Skill Fair showcase students' talent, encourage innovation, and strengthening partnerships between school and industry. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry's ongoing curriculum review provides an important opportunity to keep learning relevant and responsive to the needs of our students and our country. The curriculum should continue to strengthening the literacy and the numeracy, encouraging critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving, and support the values that help young people become a responsible citizen in their lifelong learners. Mr. Speaker, sir, technology is becoming an important part of teaching. Learning across our school, for the first time, this budget has provided dedicated funding for digital learning, including investment in Moodles, internet connectivity, digital equity, teachers' workshop, and the school broadcast program. This initiative will strengthen access to learning resources, support teachers in the classroom, and help to ensure that students across Fiji benefit from the technology-enabled learning while developing digital skills needed for the future generation. Mr. Speaker, sir, creating safe and supportive learning environments remain an important responsibility for the school. Students learn best when they feel secure, respected, and supported. Mr. Speaker, sir, I acknowledge the commitment of our school chaplain and counselors. Together with our teachers and head of school, they provide guidance, encouragement that helps young people develop and value self-discipline and sense of responsibility. Mr. Speaker, sir, I welcome the dedicated allocation of the $100,000 for the Matua program in this budget. Many students leave school because of financial hardship, family responsibilities, health issues, pregnancy, and other personal circumstances. The Matua program provides them with the opportunity to complete their secondary education and continue their learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, over the years, the program has enabled many former school leavers and adult learners to return to school and progress to tertiary education, professional qualification, skills training, and employment. This achievement, Mr. Speaker, sir, demonstrates the value of providing flexible pathway for those who wish to complete their education. This budget reinforces government's commitment to expanding opportunity for lifelong learning. The ministry will continue working with schools and educational partners to encourage more eligible learners to take advantage of the Matua program and complete their education. Mr. Speaker, sir, I welcome the transfer of $40 million back to school support program to the Ministry of Education's budget. This reflects government's decision to place the administration of the program within the ministries responsible for delivering education service in our beloved country. Mr. Speaker, sir, in previous years, the ministry verified application submitted by head of school before payments were administered through the Ministry of Finance. From the next academic year, the Ministry of Education will administer the program, providing a clear oversight, more responsive service delivery, and greater accountability in the management of this fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, education succeeds when government, schools, parents, families, and community each play their roles. The responsibility of preparing our young people for the future belongs to all of us. Mr. Speaker, sir, I acknowledge our teachers, head of schools, school management committees, controlling authorities, parents, and everyone who continue to support education throughout Fiji. Your contribution is sincerely appreciated. To the students of Fiji, work hard, value education, make the most of the opportunity before you. The knowledge and skill you gain today will help to shape the choice you make tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, sir, I commend the Minister for Finance for this budget, and I reaffirm my support for the continued support of the Minister of Education in serving the people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to respond to Honorable Alvik Maraj, who stated yesterday we are doing less on drugs and HIV. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me correct honorable members on the following. From 2023 to 2026, the coalition government has introduced a range of initiatives to address Fiji's growing challenges with illicit drugs and HIV. Many of these measures recognize that the two issues are increasingly linked, particularly through injecting drug use. Officials have emphasized that reinforcement is not sufficient, that a coordinated public health and community response is also needed. Mr. Speaker, sir, establishing the Ministry of Policing in 2025 to provide a dedicated leadership on policing, crime prevention, public safety. It also established the Counter-Narcotic Bureau to coordinate intelligence, investigation, border enforcement, and interagency operation against drugs and trafficking. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's also adopted Fiji's first national counter-narcotic strategy, 2023 to 2028. The focus is on the supply reduction, demand reduction, harm reduction, legislative reform, strengthening border and law enforcement effort to intercept illicit drugs and dismantle trafficking network. Also, it promotes a whole-of-nation approach involving traditional leaders, the church, the school, civil society organization, communities, the private sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, It also expanded drugs awareness and prevention program targeting schools and the communities. It planned a rehabilitation and treatment initiative, including proposal for additional rehabilitation center and therapeutic approach for people affected by drugs dependence. Mr. Speaker, sir, the coalition government declared HIV a national outbreak and launched an emergency response through the Ministry of Health. The implementation of HIV Surge Strategy 2024-2027 to expand preventative testing, treatment, and healthy system capacity. It also launched a national HIV outbreak response plan to accelerate immediate intervention in community with high transmission. It increases government funding for HIV responses alongside support from the international partners. Mr. Speaker, sir, expanded HIV testing and treatment service, including effort to improve medicine supply, chain and treatment access. It also improved access to intracranial therapies, including multi-month dispensing and delivery to remote communities. Workers with international partners such as World Health Organization, UNAID, UNDP, UNFPA, and the Global Fund to strengthen HIV responses. Mr. Speaker, sir, developing a harm reduction measures in response to HIV transmission linked to interjecting of drug use, including planning for needles and cylinders program consistent with international public health guidance. Mr. Speaker, sir, the coalition government has recognized the connection between methamphetamine use, injecting drug use, and the risk of HIV infection. The coalition government has increasingly presented this in interconnected challenges its strategy combined stronger the law enforcement against drug trafficking, preventative and public education, community partnership, expanded health services and HIV treatment, harm reduction measures for people at risk. Mr. Speaker, sir, while this initiative represents significant policy actions, it continues to face serious challenges from both illicit drugs and HIV. The long-term effectiveness of these measures will depend on implementation, sustained funding, cooperation across sector, and continued community engagement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I urge the honourable members that all information brought before this House should be based on fact and not misleading the people of Fiji. On that note, Mr. Speaker, sir, I fully support the 2026-2027 national budget and I commend it to this honourable House. That's all for the opportunity.